I am the vine, that is the true vine. That's what it says in Greek. I am the vine, that is the true one. Now, you got to know the Old Testament to understand why he put it like that. I'm the true one. Now, what was standing in Jerusalem at the time Jesus said these words? The temple was still standing. It had not been burned by the Romans yet. That was down the road a piece. What did it have carved over the front door of the temple? A grapevine. You think that's a coincidence? That Jesus should be in the town where the temple is and say, forget that grapevine. I am the true vine. Well, the reason that grapevine was there in the temple was because in the Old Testament, on 4 or 5 different occasions, Israel is called a vine. And what's interesting is that every time Israel's called the vine, it's in a negative sense. I want you to look at a couple of those passages with me. We're just going to look at them so you can see them. Turn to Isaiah chapter 5. Isaiah chapter 5. And let's start with verse 1 and read down a few verses. Let me sing now for my well-beloved, a song of my beloved concerning his vineyard. My well-beloved had a vineyard on a fertile hill, and he dug it all around, removed its stone, and planted it with the choicest vine. And he built a tower in the middle of it, and hewed out a wine vat in it. Then he expected it to produce good grapes, but it produced only worthless ones. And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Judah, judge between me and my vineyard. What more was there to do for my vineyard than I have not done for it? Why, when I expected it to produce good grapes, did it produce worthless ones? So you understand the imagery. God says, I own this vineyard, and I've done everything you can do for this vineyard, and still, instead of giving me the grapes that I deserve, it gives me nothing. And in total ingratitude, forgets everything I've done for it. All right, now turn to the first chapter of Jeremiah. And let's read in start with verse 1. For long ago I broke your yoke and tore off your bonds, but you said, I will not serve. For on every high hill and under every green tree you have lain down as a harlot. Yet I planted you a choice vine, a completely faithful seed. How then have you turned yourself before me into the degenerate shoots of a foreign vine? So here's another time, and there's several others, where the church of Israel is referred to as a vine, but it's not complimentary at all. It's a vineyard that was intended to produce grapes for its owner, but instead of producing grapes, it produced nothing. And in ingratitude, it turned its back on the one who did so much for them. And so I don't know about you, but I don't think I'd have put a vine on the top of the temple, because that vine had no good implications in the Old Testament. And now Jesus is saying, not Israel, not the church of Israel, but I am the true vine. Israel's rebelled against me. It's apostatized. It's turned its back on me. And so I'm going to excommunicate it, burn it with fire in 70 AD. I am the true vine. Not just the trunk, but the whole vine.